Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcome to another episode of Castle Podcast Article. Building Insight through Article.
Yay!
Another episode brought to you by the English Department of UIN Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung. And today we have a lot of things to talk about. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Tibian Purnama. I am the host for today with my fellow student.
Yes, I am Anissa Situmorang.
And also our guest lecturer.
Dedi Sulaiman.
Yeah, give applause.
Big applause. Well, as we've discussed and talked about all the way from the start of the podcast season, we will be discussing about different articles or journals that was published. And for today's episode, we have two topics to discuss. And first will be presented by Anissa, and the title is The Use of AI or Artificial Intelligence in English Learning among University Students. It's the case study in English Department, the University of Erlangga. Take it away, Anissa.
Okay. Hi guys, I am Anissa, and today we are diving into an interesting topic, which is related to our future education. We call it AI or artificial intelligence. It might sound techy and also complicated, but this is actually an interesting topic, right? Because AI is quite familiar to our English education learning. And today's episode, we are going to break down how AI is being used to change the way classroom work, especially in language learning. And we'll chat about how it's not just about making things easier for teacher and students, but also improving to overall quality of education. We are going to introduce the title first, right? Okay. As previously Bian said, the title of the journal is The Use of AI, Artificial Intelligence, in English Learning among University Students. This is actually a case study in English Department. The author are Hemas Kumala Dewi, Nur Anissa Rahim, and their friends. And the corresponding author is Moses Glorino Rumambo Pandin. Wow, it sounds like
not Sundanese.
Yeah, not Sundanese, of course. This article is published at University Erlangga, Surabaya, Indonesia. It is published on December 2021. Okay, that is for the introduction. Okay, let's move to... Okay, of course, when we talk about article, we have to know the aim. Right? The aim of this article, you may see the slide, is to analyze an artificial intelligence that can be used in imparting education as well as evaluating student performance. As we know that artificial intelligence really help students. For example, me, when
not only students, but lecturers as well.
Of course. For everyone. AI like chatbox can answer any random question comes from our mind.
Any random questions,
And of course, the chatbox or AI or any stuff of AI can help us in any aspect. If you are going to find some papers, you may find connected papers. If you are going to check your grammar, you can go to Grammarly, or you can use Gemini or Quillbot for paraphrasing and like. Let's see the background. The background of this research focuses on the growing of use artificial intelligence in education and its role in improving both teaching and learning process. As previously I said that we cannot deny that in this sophisticated era, AI really help us in every aspect. And especially in education, AI plays a particular or main role in teaching methods and learning environments. When being nostalgic to the time when we are senior high school,
we are.
we are in different era. Okay.
This is just only your.
Maybe in 2000 something. The learning process is really traditional. Traditional. But now we have to collaborate with technology. And this journal tells that technology can improve and help our learning process. And I believe that by doing technology such as visual or video, it can help us to give a long-term memorization. And the purpose of this work is to research artificial intelligence platform, which will be used each in providing education and assessing student grades. Next. The problem statement or the the research question. The research question is how AI can improve English language learning for university students, especially in English department student at Airlangga University in Surabaya.
And Anissa, this article is published in 2021. Before you are postgraduate student, right? In what level? What did you do in 2021?
Bachelor degree.
Bachelor degree.
We have just graduated. How about you?
Graduated. Where were you? Where were you in 2021?
I was at home.
Okay. When we know that this is 2021, so it is 3 years ago, right?
Yes.
3 years ago, they published journal related to AI. When you were in bachelor degree, published in Sintacu. When you said that this is the new trends, new issue in AI, but it is 3 years ago.
So it means they are more sophisticated.
That's right. I mean, they can catch that this is the main issue at the time, and now this is growing fast. And there are many seminars, workshops related to AI, but it is 3 years ago. This is a good idea.
It reminds me to the material given by who is the Mr.
Pajati.
We have a public lecture. Mr. said that actually AI has been not popular, has been launched in 1960.
1960.
In North America, but it's popular in nowadays. It's like maybe it's just a long stuff, but how to say it? It is
starts growing with this year.
Thanks, Elon.
Okay, let's continue. We are going to jump to the methodology of this research. Actually, this study using qualitative research methodology. According to L.G. Malone, he says that qualitative research is a study using a natural background with the concern of interpreting the recent phenomena by involving various methods such as interviews, observation, and a literature review. For this case, the method of a literature review and using in-depth literature review and using in-depth interview.
Review and interview.
They are the same. And the method of literature review, we know that the aim is to collect and take the essence of previous research, of course, and the results serve as a foundation for various types of research. And this study was conducted, online through a Zoom meeting.
Because 21 is a pandemic era.
Pandemic era.
Why? And then let's move to the
data analysis.
Okay. While the interview method taken here is using in-depth interview, it's aimed to dig deeply perception or opinion from the informant. And also in this study, we want to know their why the reason why they use AI for helping them in improving their English learning. Okay, let's move. Okay, we gonna talk about the informant here. Okay, now data analysis. Yeah, interview. Okay. The researcher find out the informant based on some criteria. The first is of course they must be unair students in English department, and also the second one student who are or have used AI for helping in English learning, and the third is informants who are willing to be interviewed and involved in this study. After find out the informant, the researcher tried to arrange the question related to the problem statement that I said previously, and after that conducting interview. And in this research is found that the interview is conducted face to face directly for 30 until 60 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And the interview was recorded by mobile phone. And after that, the researcher conducting the result transcribed into written form. All the conversation taken while doing interview.
This is a very serious research.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Next. Okay. We are in data analysis. Okay, let's see the slide. In this section, researchers present the result of the analysis of interview data with coding techniques using to help of Atlas.t software. For your information, guys, if in quantitative research, we use like SPSS, but for data analysis, we can use Atlas.ti software. It is a familiar or it is similar like NVivo. Yeah, this application can analyze some conversation, some voice, and also some context or text. Yeah, and the researcher use this kind of software. Okay. Okay, we can see
the result.
Yeah, the result, but actually I'm trying to screenshot, but it is blurry and I cannot read. But this is the interview coding analysis.
Is there any AI beyond that to make it clear, not blur? I think you have the words of AI.
I'm pretty sure you can use AI such as DALL-E to upscale the images. There are a lot of image modifier in AI. It's so advanced now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's DALL-E is also it's an offshoot of OpenAI.
Because you are talking about AI and you have many obstacles like this. We have to solve the problems.
I had better use that application.
What is the name?
DALL-E.
DALL-E to upscale the gigabit or something.
The
colors
clear.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a sub branch of ChatGPT. There's 3 sub branches from the OpenAI.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Thank you for the advice. Okay. We are jump to the result. Okay. Let's see the result of this research. The first is definition of AI itself from the perspective of informant. The majority of informant or students say that AI is artificial intelligence used to help human activities. Yes, of course. Through AI, humans will be helped and facilitate the activities they do. Okay. This result have answered the first problem statement. And next, things need in the use of AI. The informant say that AI is closely related to digitalization, of course. That's because the use of AI in people's life will be the same as changing the activities carried out into digital activities to make it easier. Of course, yeah. If we use AI, we have to use internet also. Yeah, there will be no AI without internet device and a good network, of course. Yeah. Next, the last, the reason for using AI, the informant said that the use of AI in English learning is has a positive impact on English language learning. Okay. For example, when I'm going to find out some journal related to my task in the class, yes, I often use AI, such as Perplexity and also Connected Papers. And also, do you remember OpenDrill?
OpenDrill, yes.
OpenDrill can make a main map that help us to make a brainstorming of some topics related to our purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then, okay, this is discussion comes from some not expert, previously researcher. They said that this is come from conducted on psychology student at University Saranwijaya. It showed that AI-based applications such as Netflix and Joox Music can significantly improve students' listening skills.
Listening.
Nowadays, almost the application on our phone, it is connected to AI. For example, the camera also using AI.
AI camera.
AI camera. Okay.
Canva,
you just capture and then you click the picture. It can identify the picture show on your phone. It's really sophisticated.
Yeah, including your face.
Yeah.
Do you want that your face is detected in all many photos?
Yeah.
AI.
And then next, okay. According to R.R. Divekar, students' abilities in vocabulary, listening, interpretation, and speech increase considerably between pre and post-test. This is quantitative research. Yeah, this adaptive artificial intelligence translation can be used to assist students in processing material. Okay, the last, the study conducted by X Zhang and L Chen under the title College English Smart Classroom Teaching Model Based on AI Technology in Mobile Information System.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is said that AI system can make 80% of students satisfied with the new teaching model. Yeah.
I am interested in classroom teaching model based on AI technology in mobile information system. We can adapt. Can we adapt?
It's based on the facility.
Based on facility.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the last, we are in conclusion stage. Yeah. Based on the result of this study, it can be stated that AI's function in learning can have an impact on a human's language quality. Students can benefit from the usage of artificial intelligence in the form of apps, websites, and other tools to help them interpret difficult words, construct a sentence, improve their writing and listening abilities, and learn other language skills.
Alhamdulillah. So you do understand, the material from Sintatsu.
Inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Anissa. Talking about multimodal, we have AI and then video learning. And then your article, Bian, is about the development of video-based digital content, learning for teaching university students. Okay, please elaborate with us, Bian. What is the results of your reading report for us?
Okay, let's open.
I will be talking about the development of video-based digital content learning for teaching university students.
Okay.
And this is written by Taufik Ar-Rahman, Ali Imran, and Winda Chandra Hantari, Universitas Tidar, Indonesia.
Tidar.
It was published on June the 30th.
Okay.
2024. So it's relatively new.
Yeah.
So I will be talking about the paper that they wrote. First of all, I would like to talk about the background of the paper.
Okay.
The background of the paper, it stems from the rapid advancements of technology and its influence on education.
Okay.
In the 21st century, there's a growing need for us to integrate information and technology into our educational process. And the problem is, in the 2019, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerates our need to adapt and integrate all the ICT, or information communication technology, into our classrooms. And even though those are the digital tools, there are sudden shift and challenges that we need to adapt to or address, which is the lack of engagement, limited accessibility, and also the educational outcomes. So the key point is that the digital era necessitates the use of ICT in our education, and COVID-19 pandemic revealed the weakness of the online platforms. And videos are a promising medium to offer interactive and also flexible and accessible content. As discussed, the problem statement is that there are a lot of weakness to video, the video materials. So we have to adjust, and we need to identify the need to develop content that is a solution for both the student motivation and also the learning outcome. So the research question is, how can a video-based digital content be developed to support students learning at the University of Tidar or Tidar University? Is there a significant difference in student motivation and learning outcome before and after video-based digital content? So the way they approach this is with a methodology of research and development.
R&D?
Or R&D, using the 4D model by Thiagarajan in 1974. It has 4 stages, which is define, design, develop, and disseminate. Okay, let's break it down.
What are they?
What are they? So first up, we have define phase. So defining is initial needs or analysis to understand the problem that students face when doing online learning. So we have to identify and also find what the problem was, which is students found learning through online platforms like Zoom and Google very boring or monotonous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. Oh, yes. So that's the problem. And the design phase is we have to learn the objective of the framework of the video-based learning content. So we create educational videos using Microsoft PowerPoint, and you add animations, audio elements to make the content more engaging. Now, 3 is develop phase. So we develop the videos after learning the objectives and also the materials. And the draft videos is validated by a team, which is comprised of a linguist to check for the language quality, media experts to validate the design. Is it boring? Is it nice? Is it looking good?
To give a comment.
To give the comment on how the audio visual of the content. And finally, the content experts, which is for the educational material is
Yeah.
good. And finally, we have the dissemination phase. It involves the testing of the videos with real students to evaluate their effectiveness and usage. So the implementation is a sample of 25 third semester students. And the students were given pre-test to assess their understanding. And then the post-test after the...
Okay.
Okay, bisa di-cut. Back again. So the students were given pre-test and the post-test, before and after, given the updated material. The researchers also collected feedback from the students. So the data collection and analysis, there's actually two here, which is the qualitative data and also the quantitative data. To analyze the data, the experts use validation scores. There's a table in the paper which you can read. Don't forget to read the paper. And also the test, the post and the pre, to determine whether there was a significant improvement or difference in students' performance after using the videos. Discussion. Okay, let's discuss the findings a little bit, because it's actually pretty positive. So the study was found that it improved the learning outcomes, and the test, it has a differential values of 6.38, which is it's deemed to be good. And audio and visual learning here, we can take the conclusion that it does increase your learning outcomes.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Increase, okay, in educational stories.
Comparison with traditional online learning methods, as many students have expressed, using traditional online learning methods such as Zoom and Google Meeting, well, there's no engagement and it's monotone, people get bored. So this is a better alternative, as you can say, to a conventional online class.
By the way, do you have any videos for your learning, Anissa, Bian? Do you make your videos?
Videos for learning?
For your learning.
For me personally, no. But I think what we can gather here is it would be nice if materials was given in the video form.
Yeah, because you said that this is significant. It improves English learning. So you have to make the video.
But if I make by myself, if we are together, it will be.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, the benefits of video-based learning, where you just give the students a file, it's flexible because they can download it, watch it
anytime.
And engagement, if you are following the R&D process and your video is well made, of course students are going to be, this is a very good video. They will pay more attention to it. You will engage the students more. And
I have a question. Why don't we just find out the video through YouTube? Are they the same?
No, because if you just watch a random video through YouTube, it might not be in alignment with what your lecturer is talking about.
That's right.
Exactly. So because this is especially in the University of Tidar, the case was this is for their online classes. So there is a strict curriculum. There's also lesson planning. So that's why they have to do it in-house.
Okay. Yeah. That's
exactly. Because if you can just outsource it or something, But at the end of the day, it's better for your lecturers to do something about it.
Yeah.
And of course, the benefits of video, and the final point is clarity, because of course it's a video. You can edit it, you can modify it, and also make it clearer.
You can pause, you can continue.
Exactly.
You can customize yourself.
Exactly. You can customize the experience. You don't understand? Let me rewind. It's very good. Of course, we talked about that in the flexibility is practicality and usability.
Yes, that's
so
right.
The practicality of video-based learning is highlighted, And the feedbacks from the students also shows like, oh, it's user friendly, it's easy to follow, it's very enjoyable, which is what you want from your R&D. And this findings is also supported by Coleman and Money, who says that we emphasize the role of self-directed learning is in fostering deeper understanding and academic success.
Okay.
So again, by giving out the files, you're handing the students the key to study.
Okay.
And it addresses some of the learning challenges during the pandemic, such as internet instability or, lack of focus in Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
So now it's like when the student have time, they can focus. Oh, I have some time. Let's go revisit the material. And or maybe back in the day when you're doing Zoom meeting, there's buffering, there's lag, there's everything. But,
Buffering.
but when it's a file, you just download it and you watch it. That's why it's more, it's more good. It addresses the problems. So some recommendations for future research is we can expand the use of video-based content for a wider range of subjects and student groups. Investigate the long-term effects of video-based learning on academic performance and retention of knowledge. And explore the potential of integrating other multimedia tools such as quizzes or augmented reality to enhance the learning experience. These ideas are supported by Varghese et al., who suggest that combining different forms of media and interactivity could further improve student engagement. Okay, so this is interesting because there's a lot of idea for the watchers at home. Ideas to write about maybe in the future, what do I want to do? And of course, we also experience this problem every day because the learning and teaching how to engage people, how to, keep it flexible. This is a long-term debate right now in pedagogy, especially ever since COVID happened. So there's a lot of things to discuss here. This is just one thing that the researchers discuss, which is video-based learning. There's a lot of potential, such as the quizzes, such as Kahoot, and
Curipod.
and augmented reality. You could mix your studies with online stuff, and it's the tech is not there yet for augmented reality.
With the tools.
Yeah,
so
with
it is
tools.
reality.
It's not mainstream yet.
Is it possible to combine or to develop video-based learning by using AI?
Yeah, this is possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I think
It's done. It is ongoing.
Everything is possible with AI nowadays because it's so advanced.
Yeah.
So it should be easier for lecturers. So for the conclusion, this discussion or this paper in particular confirms that video-based learning is a powerful tool.
Okay.
It can support online education, particularly in situations where interaction in real time is limited, and there's a lot of issues like
Bad
connectivity,
signal.
Yeah.
signal, all those kinds of problems that we have, time issues, people having different schedules. That's why students need more flexibility. And the study's findings emphasize the well-designed video. Emphasis on well-designed. You have to make it clear. You have to make it engaging. The materials need to be good. If it's well put together and well-designed content, it can increase student motivation and also improve their learning outcome and provide students with a more engaging and accessible learning experience.
Okay, I think well done. There are many points. I shouldn't ask you again what is the learning point. There are many points. This is very deep of your discussion from Anissa and Bian. Thank you very much for your insights, and I hope that you can write the similar thing with Sinta too.
Very similar.
Okay. Yeah, you can close the program, Anissa, or Bian as the host.
Okay, so that will be from us. This will be the last episode of Hostel. We from the English department, thank you all for tuning in.
Okay.
And that will be all from us. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Okay.
And thank you, everyone. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.